Some things happen in your life that you never worry about forgetting. I won't ever forget one Sunday afternoon. My wife and I went to the Sunday matinee movie and left our two children with my mother and dad to babysit for us. When we got home after the movie that afternoon, they were listening to the radio, and there was nothing on it but the fact that Japan had attacked the United States. At that very moment, they were bombing Pearl Harbor. Of course, this alarmed everybody, scared them to death, and rumors were running rampant. Shortly after the bombing, there were headlines in the paper that everybody, every male above 18 years old, had to report to your city hall to what was not called the draft board. And on January of '45, I think it was, I was called in along with about 40 other young men. There was a bus sitting out there, and all of our families and friends and associates, everybody knew that you were going and when you were leaving, and a whole lot of it had in the back of your mind you weren't ever coming back. Basic training they would teach you. When you went into that phase of it, they were teaching you how to live, how to get along with people you were around and were going to sweat and bleed, and hurt, and eat, and live with for the rest of for the next 13 weeks. Then you leave from that and you go into the next phase of it, which meant you were headed for the front lines or wherever the battle was going on.
They put me on a LCS, Landing Craft Support, number 4. There was 130 of them made. We went in the head of the landing craft. We had rocket launchers. We laid down a barrage of rockets along the beach. And of course all our guns, we had the firing power of a battleship for 3 minutes. It was about over. But anyhow, we'd head into a beach and shooting all our guns and all our rockets. And they'd drop anchor out so far from the beach, and we'd hit the beach and they'd winch us back out with that anchor they dropped out there. The Japanese were sending kamikazes in their suicide planes. They'd come in, they'd get over right above the water and go through the bay until they hit something. And those Japanese, they had a boat, it looked like a speedboat or something, you know. They'd load the whole front of it, nothing but dynamite or explosive. And one man was sitting in a little cockpit back there, and they'd ram ships with it. And we had to patrol the beaches looking for them. But then they'd have swimmers that would come out when you were anchored in the bay. And they'd come out there with explosives and stick them to your ship. And you had to get them before they got out to you.
But one night, the skipper came on the PA system and informed us the atomic bomb had been dropped. We went to Japan, witnessed the signing of the peace treaty. My ship, the USS O'Brien, guarded that operation. So we docked, and then they would let a few of us off at the time just to walk around some, couldn't go far. But we came upon a tent that had been erected, and this guy came out, Japanese guy came out to the front of the tent, opened the curtain like, thing, and motioned for us to come there. So naturally we didn't know where to go in the tent or not. And when we got inside, it was a father, mother, a daughter, and a son. We finally managed to ask them how they felt toward the United States for dropping that bomb. And they said that they had no trouble, with that. And that was my first and only encounter that I had with the Japanese people, and which was very moving